Hi there, Notes from Nature friends. I wanted to pop on here once now and probably again one more time before the end of the year to say hi. I know a lot of you joined me 4 years ago in this group, and the whole purpose was to do 31 days of calm, reflective time in nature. And I did that for a good 4 years. I wrote a darn book about it called Notes from Nature. Tune into your inner voice by letting nature take the lead. And this year, I just wore out. And I couldn't do it this year. And most of you are totally fine with that. But I did want to give you a couple of things this year. And give you a little special announcement for 2022, the year that is yet to be. So, I have been tagged in a poem which has no name and has no author. Go figure. But I think this is the 6th or 7th time in, a month or two that someone has tagged me in this poem. And I thought that it was really perfect for describing my work, my relationship with nature, how nature has healed me and changed me, and why nature is so important to me. And funnily enough, I had a coaching session with another coach, and he said something to the effect of, Angie, do you think that the whole nature-based coaching that you do, the work that you do, taking people outside, do you think that's just like a gimmick and that the star of the show is really your coaching? And honestly, I think being out in nature is as powerful coaching. I think it's a both and. I don't think it's an either or a one or the other. For me, doing this coaching thing that I do, this intuitive work with people, and doing it out of doors is the most impactful work that I do. All right, so the poem. The poem is literally, there's no, at least as I've been tagged in it, there is no title for the poem, and it is author unknown. So here it is. She sat at the back, and they said she was shy. She led from the front, and they hated her pride. They asked her guidance, and then questioned her guidance. They branded her loud, and then were shocked by her silence. When she shared no ambition, they said it was sad. So she told them her dreams, and they said she was mad. They told her they'd listen, then covered their ears, and gave her a hug while they laughed at her fears. And she listened to all of it, thinking she should be the girl they told her to be best as she could. But one day, she asked what was best for herself, instead of trying to please everyone else. So she walked to the forest and stood with the trees. She heard the wind whisper and dance with the leaves. She spoke to the willow, the elm, and the pine, and she told them what she'd been told time after time. She told them she felt she was never enough. She was either too little or far, far too much. Too loud or too quiet, too fierce or too weak, too wise or too foolish, too bold or too meek. Then she found a small clearing surrounded by firs, and she stopped, and she heard what the trees said to her. And she sat there for hours, not wanting to leave, for the forest said nothing. It just let her breathe. I love this poem. I love the guidance of it. I love the descriptions of no matter what this girl did, it was too much or not enough. She was too loud or too quiet. She was too ambitious or not ambitious enough. She was too big and too small. She was too this or too that. She was damned if she did and damned if she didn't, frankly. And I have discovered that we can come face to face with the majesty and the humility and the fullness and the truth of who we are when we go out into nature and we just be there with nature. It is magical, I guess is the best word I can come up with. Yeah, it's magical. So I think I've told the group that I have finally started my official certification to become a forest therapy guide. And I've been leading folks, groups and individuals in forest therapy, forest bathing experiences for 3 years now, maybe 4, probably 3 years now. And I decided I just needed to get the certification. And I'm so glad that I'm doing it because it is deepening my understanding that the forest itself, or the nature place, that is the therapist. Nature, ocean, forest, park. Nature provides the therapy that is needed for the person. I am simply the guide, the one that opens the doors. And I think that's what makes this wayfinding coaching thing that I do so powerful. And I'm not sure I would have realized that without taking this deep dive into the certification process. So, to that end, I am going to offer at least 12, but probably more wayfinding experiences that involve either completely or partially forest therapy next year. Once a month, I'm going to offer forest therapy experiences. Usually they're going to be 2 to 3 hours. I'm going to start out virtually, especially for January, February, and March when it's chilly. And then I'm going to find and partner with a park, a nature-based place where I can bring groups up to 10 out to do forest therapy in person together. So that's the first thing. My dear friend Jane Fott of Island Ford Adventures, she and I offered a wayfinding and backpacking trip last year. Yeah, I think it was last year in November. Yes, it was. And that was a profound experience for the women that attended that. And we are doing it again. The dates are going to be for early April this year, and registration will open up after the beginning of January. As always, I offer one-on-one forest therapy, nature-based coaching for clients, and I will be looking to put together some group experiences that are semi-VIP for my clients in 2022 as well. So stay tuned for that. I would love your questions, your comments. As you're watching this, I would love to hear what you thought about this poem that I read. It's one of my favorites. And it's almost Dr. Seuss-like in its cadence. I love it. Anyway, If you have questions about forest therapy, forest bathing, and what that entails, please feel free to ask. If you would like to offer a forest therapy experience for a group that you belong to, for something a little different, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about how that works. I did that this year for a group. There's a podcast called Hey Boomer, and it's run by Wendy Green, and Wendy reached out to me and interviewed me about forest bathing, and then we put together a walk for her audience to experience forest bathing, and that was a really profound experience for all of us. So if you've got a group that you want to offer this to, reach out and ask. I'd love to share this with them. Okay, so that's all that's happening in my world, and I just wanted to share it with you so that you knew. I will probably pop back one more time before the end of the year for another reading. I have something special that I found that I want to share with the group. So stay tuned. I'm not scheduling it because the mood will just sort of hit me, and I'll share it with you and jump on the live. As always, these are recorded, so you can watch the recording at your leisure. Okay, friends, if you have questions, comments, anything, feel free to reach out to me. And thank you again for being part of my Notes from Nature group. Be well.